Hi, I am Ashok Alshala, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Kakatiya Government College, Hanamkonda, Warangal Urban District, Telangana State, India. See, today's our discussion, this is session 4, halogen compounds in the organic chemistry. And in this session 4, we're going to discuss about the other topic. Before going to the session 4, then what we discussed in session 1, 2, 3. In session 1, we discussed about what are halogen compounds, how does they are named, then what is the chemical reactivity of that is classification of the halogen compounds. Whereas in the second, we discussed about the chemical reactivity of halogen compounds and a reduction, and other one we discussed about what is a Grignard reagent, how does it is formed, then what is the nature of the Grignard reagent. And in session 3, exclusively we discussed about what is SN2 reaction and what are the factors which influence the SN2 reaction, we discussed in session 3. See, in the session 4, we're going to discuss about what do you call it as the SN1 reaction, because in session 3 we exclusively discussed SN2. In this session, what is SN1 reaction, what is the SN2 and SN1 differences comparison, that means SN2 versus SN1. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, let us see, this is a nucleophilic substitution reaction where one nucleophile substitute over the other nucleophile. That is, a weak nucleophile can be substituted by a strong nucleophile, and that type of reactions are nucleophilic substitution reaction. And this is a characteristic property of the alkyl halides or halogen compounds. Let us see our discussion, that is SN1 reaction. In previous, I told you in the previous session we discussed about SN2. Let us see what is SN1 reaction. Tertiary butyl bromide does not undergo substitution via SN2 reaction mechanism. These bulky halides actually undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction following slightly different mechanism called SN1 mechanism. This is the tertiary butyl bromide, and when it is undergo hydrolysis, it will give the tertiary butyl alcohol, and that you can know this reaction does not follow SN2 mechanism. See, the kinetic data shows that the rate of the reaction depends only upon the tertiary butyl bromide, and the nucleophile water in the above equation does not contribute to the rate of reaction. Adding even a stronger nucleophile does not influence the rate of reaction, means the rate of the reaction depends only on the concentration of the alkyl halide. The reaction thus follows first order kinetics, where the rate of reaction is independent of the concentration of the nature of a nucleophile. Moreover, nucleophile does not participate in the rate determining step. And you know what is rate determining step? The rate determining step is nothing but when a reaction is carried or proceeds in more than one step, the slowest step in the in different steps, that is called rate determining step. That is, the slowest step among all the steps is said to be the rate determining step. And this reaction mechanism is called unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction and is denoted as SN1. See, the rate can be shown as like this. The rate of the reaction is equal to K into, that is, the K means a rate constant, K into concentration of the only tertiary butyl bromide. That means it depends only on the concentration of the tertiary butyl. That's why we call it as the SN1 reaction. Thus, the reaction mechanism can be shown or can be explained in this way. The step 1 is the dissociation of the tertiary butyl bromide. You can see the carbon bromine bond is highly polar because there is a large electronegativity difference. Of course, in such cases, in the primary alcohol also, that is the polar. But in this case, we'll discuss in the concept in the coming slides. And here the carbon bromine bond, because of the polar covalent bond, it undergo dissociation in the step 1. And this is the slow step, and it is said to be RDS, that is rate determining step. And it is the slowest step among the all the steps in this mechanism. And you will get a tertiary butyl cation and a bromide ion is formed. Here these ions are formed, therefore the SN1 reaction is also called as ionization mechanism. This that means this reaction proceeds in the way that is ionization mechanism, because ions are formed. Let us see the step 2. In the first step, alkyl halide dissociate to form a carbocation and a halide ion. This is a slowest step, hence we call it as a rate determining step. The formation of the carbocation is a fundamental feature of SN1 mechanism or reaction. Let us see this one in step 2. What happened? The nucleophile. What is the nucleophile is here? The nucleophile is here the water molecule where it has a 2 lone pair of electron, and this approaches the tertiary butyl cation. This is the first step, and then you will get an oxonium and tertiary butyl oxonium ion is formed, and this is going to be the what you say an oxonium ion. The carbocation formed in the first step react rapidly with water molecule nucleophile. The step completes nucleophilic substitution and forms an oxonium ion. It is the first step. Now let us see what happened to the in third step. In step 3, what happens? You see, this is here water, and here already it is added, and you know this is solvent. The water molecules, many are present in the what I mean to say in the reaction mixture, and here in this step, this water acts as a base, and it abstracts the proton, and so that our product, the tertiary butyl alcohol, will be formed, and this is the hydronium ion. In this way, this SN1 mechanism proceeds, what I meant to say, in the 3-step reaction. Now, let us see. The last step is a fast acid-base reaction. Here, water acts as a base and removes the proton from oxonium ion to give final product, that is tertiary butyl alcohol. It is clear that SN1 is an ionization mechanism because the ions are formed in this mechanism. Now let us see what is the energy profile diagram of the SN1 reaction. You can see this is going to be the energy profile diagram. You can have 2 peaks, whereas in the case of SN2 you have only 1 peak, but here 2 peaks. How does these 2 peaks are formed? Let us see. Here this is a tertiary butyl bromide, and this is the water where it acts as a nucleophile, and they get approached during the course of the reaction. During the course of the reaction, that in the first step, what happens? The breaking of the carbon bromide bond takes place, and this breaking results in the formation of the tertiary butyl carbocation and bromide. During the course of the reaction, the energy of the tertiary butyl bromide will increase slowly, and it reaches a maximum. It reaches a maximum, and where the carbon bond here, if you observe this case, the length of the carbon bromine bond is longer when compared to here, and here the bond breaking takes place, and the dissociation of the carbon bromine bond takes place at this stage where they reaches the maximum energy, and this is said to be a transition state, that is breaking of the carbon bromine bond takes place. When the rupturing of this bromine bond is going to take place, what happens? The energy of the reactant slowly decreases. Then after the formation of the tertiary butyl carbocation, and it is more stable and reaches the lowest energy. And here what happened, you got here, what I mean to say, we can take the pen so that we can see. In this case, you can see here the tertiary carbocation is formed, And when the tertiary carbocation is formed, what happens? It is lowest in energy. Now that this nucleophile where we are saying the water molecule approaches the carbocation. When it approaches the carbocation, then again the energy slowly increases like this. Again, the energy will be increases again like this. When there is a bond formation takes place between the tertiary butyl carbocation and the water molecule, which is acts as a nucleophile, and there here you can observe that there will be a bond, and again the energy will be increased and it reaches a maximum here. And the energy difference between the tertiary butyl carbocation and this transition state is called activation energy of this step. This is going to be the, we discussed it, this is the second step, this is going to be the first step. The activation energy of the first step is the energy difference between the tertiary butyl bromide to this transition state. Now, after the formation of the transition state, that is in step 2 mechanism, slowly the loss of the proton takes place. How does it happen? The water molecule that is present in the reaction will act as a base and it accepts the proton from here, and so that it results in the formation of the tertiary butyl alcohol. You can observe this is a tertiary butyl alcohol where the product is formed. And this is also a exothermic reaction like SN2. Why? Because the energy of the reactants is greater than the energy of the product. That's why you can say it is also, what I mean to say, that is an exothermic reaction. Now let us see, this is the case. Now, what is the stereochemistry of the SN1 reaction? If you see the stereochemistry, there is a formation of, there is a possibility to form the two products. The two products are formed when a chiral substrate that possesses an asymmetric electrophilic carbon is applied in SN1 reaction. One of them has the same absolute configuration as the starting material, that is the product. If according to the CIP rules, what is that CIP? Kohn-Ingold-Prelog's rules. The leaving group and the nucleophile have the same position in the priority order of the substituent, which is called as the retention of the configuration. And other one we can say, in contrast, the other product possesses the opposite and absolute configuration known as the inversion. In SN1 reaction, the nucleophile exists. The substrate before the nucleophilic attack can ever occur. Thus, an intermediate carbocation is then formed. Due to the carbocation is trigonal planar, you remember that the carbon in carbocation is sp2 hybridized. It has the trigonal planar structure. It is its two anisotropy sites are susceptible to attack by the nucleophile with the same probability. And you see, this is going to be this one. And here, according to the Kohn-Ingold-Prelog's rule, CIP rules, let us take the first priority, second priority, and third priority. This is going to be the, what I can say, this is a reactant, our tertiary butyl bromide. Let us, not tertiary butyl bromide, it is an asymmetric carbon. Now, first step, you know that the formation of the carbocation, because it is sp2 hybridized, you see this is a trigonal planar shape. And it has the two anisotropic faces. That is, the nucleophile can attack on this side where the bromide ion is present in the reactant, and it may attack on this side. Suppose if it attacks on this side, that is on the same side where the bromide ion is present in the reaction, the reacting molecule. You will get here in the second step, you will get the oxonium ion is like this, and after the loss of the proton, you will get the product is in this configuration where it is a retention of configuration. Retention means the nucleophile is on the same side or same position as in the reactant, as the reactant molecule. Suppose if it is added opposite to the bromide ion, opposite face of the bromide ion, then you will get in the second step this oxonium ion, and in this oxonium ion, after losing the proton, you will get this is the compound. What happens here? The presence or the position of the OH minus or OH minus nucleophile is quite opposite to the bromide ion where it is present in the reactant. That's why it is called inversion of the configuration. What happens here? It is 50% retention and 50% inversion. That when the two compounds are present in the mixture, that is mixture of the compounds are formed. And when these two are present, that is 50% retention, that is same configuration, 50% inversion configuration present. This mixture is called as the racemic mixture. You can see a racemic mixture is formed because front side attack and back side attacks leading to two opposite configuration products. That means two enantiomers are formed. These two enantiomers with the two opposite configuration. That's why one counter attack, that is the what I meant to say, the two compounds, one will be subside the other configuration. Therefore, the racemic mixture optically inactive because the two what I meant to say, one rotates the plane polarized right side, another rotates the plane polarized left side. So that what happens, they are in equal and they work on equal and opposite direction. Because of that reason, the plane polarized right either turn right side or left side. Because the two are acting on opposite direction and one will be compensate another. That's why racemic mixture is a optically inactive compound. SN1 reaction of 2-bromobutane either R or S is a racemization process because the nucleophilic attack from either side is equal, which results equal amounts of two opposite configurations of molecules, that is R and S. Two butanols are formed in the same quantity. Formation of an object and its mirror image products is equal proportions is called racemization. That means SN1 reaction involves, that is SN1 reaction involves a racemization process. Now let us see a YouTube link which explains a beautiful what I meant to say animation regarding SN1 reaction. You can watch this YouTube clicking on or going and clicking on this YouTube link. You will get a beautiful animation and you can observe and what is that is called as the, see, this is a beautiful animation just shown in the link. And let us see how does it will be. See, rate determining step in SN1 reactions. Yes, for substitution reaction involving a nucleophile with one species involved in the slowest rate determining step, that is called SN1 reaction. This is our tertiary butyl bromide. You can see this is the bromine and yellow color one is a bromine and carbon and hydrogen, and this is going to be the our tertiary butyl bromide. And this tertiary butyl bromide, because these three methyl groups are bulky and they what I meant to say, they resist to attack the entering the nucleophile because of their the bulky nature. See, this is the bulky nature. The approaching of the nucleophile will be rejected or hindered, and this is called steric hindrance. That's why not like in SN2, the nucleophile does not attack startingly. That is in this in a single step. In the first step, what happens? You see, the breaking of the carbon bromine bond takes place and its energy will be increases and reaches a maximum where the transition complex is formed. And here this bromide ion, this is the carbocation. After the formation of the carbocation, you can see there is a carbocation with the least and lowest energy. Again, it reaches the maximum where the nucleophile attacks on here. And after the formation of the oxonium ion, here it is oxonium ion formation. And finally, you will get the product. This is going to be the OH. This is going to be the OH. And like you can see, this is a tertiary butyl bromide. In the first step, it loses the bromide ion and form the carbocation. Tertiary butyl carbocation is stable. And again, the nucleophile attacks on this carbocation and energy increases. Then the OH minus ion it will be linked here, that is bonded here, and you will get the product tertiary butyl alcohol. And that is a beautiful animation you can see in the the beautiful animation, and it is clearly explained within a 2 minutes of video, that is in one reaction by this YouTube link. You can watch it again from our video or from directly from the YouTube. Now, then let us see. The other topic is SN2 versus SN1. SN2 versus SN1, let us see how does these two will be differ, and how they are the common points, what are the common points and what are the different points. Let us see what are the characteristic features of the SN2 reaction. It is a single step reaction. Rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of the nucleophile as well as the alkyl halide, and it is a second order reaction. But why? Because with respect to the alkyl halide it is first order, and with respect to the nucleophile it is a first order. The overall reaction is going to be the second order reaction. Rate is depend on concentration and strength of the nucleophile. The transition state is formed which is sp2 hybridized planar structure, not sp3d, as carbon does not have the d orbital. You remember that in the case of the transition state in SN2 reaction, it is 5 bonds are present around the carbon, that is leaving group as well as the entering group, both are present. And we have clearly discussed in the our session 3 video, you can watch it. No carbocation intermediate is formed in the case of the SN2 reaction. And a leaving group should be strong, that is a weak base. Rate of reaction is inversely proportional to the bulkiness of groups attached to the carbon atom, that is methyl chloride or methyl, this is the primary one, this is also primary. And methyl chloride, the rate of the reactivity of the reaction is methyl chloride is greater than ethyl chloride. This is isopropyl chloride, is going to the tertiary butyl chloride, means with increasing the bulkiness of the groups, the rate of the reaction slowly decreases in the case of the SN2 reaction. Means the rate of reaction is in this order. Primary alkyl halides is greater than secondary, and it is greater than the tertiary alkyl halide. Strong nucleophile forms SN2 reactions. Nucleophile attacks substrate directly from backside, that is inversion of the configuration takes place, that we call it as the Walden inversion. A polar aprotic solvents like DMSO, DMF, DMA, that means, and these are the that is aprotic solvent, they does not involve that is accepting or donating the proton, favors SN2 reaction, because PAS means polar aprotic solvent does not dissolve solvent cations, and it dissolves only anions in solution. So by taking PAS, cations are removed, and only nucleophile is present in attacking the substrate. And see, this is there, that's why we can say there is a Walden inversion occurs. Reaction is favored by low temperature, because when you use the high temperature, that is elimination reaction takes place, that is called E2 elimination reaction. Now let us see what are the characteristic features of the SN1 reactions. It is a two-step reaction. Of course, it also involves the third step, but mainly that is 2 steps. And the rate of reaction is only depends on the concentration of the alkyl halide. It is a first order reaction. Carbocation intermediate is formed. Rearrangement of the carbocation is also possible. It is depends on stability of the carbocation, that is tertiary. You can observe here, tertiary is greater than secondary, greater than primary. It is quite opposite order when compared to the SN2 reaction. Rate of reaction also depends on stability of the cation and anion. A polar protic solvent, that means where there we discussed polar aprotic solvents, but here polar protic solvents like alcohols, water, etc., and favor the SN1 reaction, as PPS dissolves both cation and anions in it. Leaving group should be strong. It must be weak base, same as in SN2. Weak nucleophile performs SN1 reaction. Strong nucleophile will directly attack substrate, resulting E1, that is elimination reaction by unimolecular E1. Rate of reaction is independent of the concentration and strength of the nucleophile. Products formed with will be both R and S form, that is mirror images of each other, and that means low temperature favors. Here actually the the nucleophilic substitution reaction either in SN1 or SN2 is favored by low temperature, because when temperature increases, the elimination process occurs. And you can see, because you can see here both forms are formed, that means racemization takes place in the case of SN1 reaction. Now let us compare the, what I mean to say, what comparisons and points regarding SN1 and SN. Rate law, it is a unimolecular, whereas it is bimolecular. Big barrier, that is what is main difference between the SN1 and SN2. Here in SN1, stability depends on the carbocation stability, whereas here the steric hindrance present in SN2 case. And the rate of the reactivity. In the case of SN1, primary is greater than secondary is greater than the more and more are greater than the 1 degree. That means the 1 degree alkyl halides never undergo almost in SN1 reaction. Whereas you can see there is a quite opposite. Primary is greater than secondary. It is double greater than the tertiary. Almost tertiary alkyl halides never undergo SN2 reaction. And you can see the quite opposite in the case of these two. Let us see this nucleophile. Here also weak nucleophile, generally neutral in nature, whereas it is strong nucleophile, generally it is a negatively charged one. Solvents, we use here polar protic solvents like alcohol, whereas polar aprotic means non-donor and non-accepting the proton, like dimethyl sulfoxide and acetone, etc. The stereochemistry involves in SN1 reaction, mixture of retention and inversion takes place, that is called as a racemic mixture is formed, whereas here only one compound is formed, that is inversion of the original compound, that is called Walder inversion takes place. And here let us see some more character. The mechanism for SN2 reaction is concerted. The mechanism of the SN1 is stepwise. The SN2 reaction is concerted, that is the SN2 occurs in a single step, and both the nucleophile and substrates are involved in the rate determining step. Therefore, the rate is depend on both the concentration of the substrate as well as the nucleophile. The SN1 reaction proceeds stepwise. The leaving group first leaves, whereupon a carbocation forms, that is attacked by the nucleophile. Let us see the second one is the big barrier for the SN2 is the steric hindrance. The big barrier for SN1 is carbocation stability. This is the most important thing to understand about each reaction. Was the one key factor that can prevent this reaction forming occurring is, in the case of SN2 reaction, the big barrier is steric hindrance. Since the SN2 proceeds through the backside attack, the reaction will only proceed if the empty orbital is accessible. The more groups that are present around the vicinity of the leaving group, the slower the reaction will be. That's why the rate of the reaction proceeds from primary, that is the fastest, when compared to the secondary, and it is more and more greater than the tertiary, which is a very, very slow. In SN1 reaction, the big barrier is the carbocation stability. Since the first step of the SN1 reaction is loss of a leaving group to give a carbocation, the rate of the reaction will be proportional to the stability of the carbocation. Carbocation stability increases with increasing the substitution on the carbon. That means tertiary is greater than the secondary, and the secondary is greater than the primary, as well as with the resonance. You remember that generally tertiary alkyl halides participate in SN1 reaction primary alkyl halides participate in SN2 reaction, whereas the secondary alkyl halides participate in both SN2 and SN1 depending on the reaction condition. Let us see the third condition, third factor. For SN2, the rate of the reaction increases going from tertiary to secondary to primary alkyl halide. For SN1, the trend is in opposite, and that we observed. For SN2 reaction, since the steric endurance increases as we go from primary to secondary to tertiary. The rate of reaction proceeds from primary to greater than secondary and greater than tertiary. From SN1, you can see the opposite, that is going to be the opposite. Since the carbocation stability increases as we go from primary to secondary to tertiary, the rate of reaction for SN1 goes from primary is lowest, secondary and tertiary is the fastest one. Let us see the third one factor. For SN2 reaction, the rate of the reaction, okay, this is again one more point. Remember that SN1 and SN2 reaction only occur for alkyl halides and related to compounds like tosylates and mesylates. If the leaving group is directly attached to alkene or alkyne, SN1 and SN2 will not occur. You remember, this is a very important point. If it is a normal alkyl halide, okay, but if it is the leaving group is present to the alkene or alkyne, there is some changes takes place, that is resonance takes place. That's why you remember that SN1 and SN2 does not occur. The SN2 tends to proceed with the strong nucleophiles. By this generally means negatively charged nucleophiles such as methoxide, cyanide, thionide, azide, hydroxide and others. The SN1 tends to proceed with weak nucleophiles, generally neutral compounds such as solvents like methyl alcohol, water, ethyl alcohol and so on. The fifth point, you can see the SN2 is favored by polar protic solvent. The SN1 tends to proceed in polar protic solvents. The SN2 reaction is favored polar protic solvents. These are solvents such as acetone, DMSO, acetonitrile or DMF, that is dimethyl sulfoxide, dimethyl formamide, the formamide, that are polar enough to dissolve the substrate and nucleophile, but do not participate in hydrogen bonding with the nucleophile. The SN1 reaction tend to proceed in polar protic solvents such as water, alcohol and carboxylic acid, which stabilizes the resulting carbocation that results from loss of the leaving group. These also tend to be nucleophile for this reaction as well. Let us see the other point. When a stereocenter is involved, the SN2 reaction provides inversion of stereochemistry, whereas SN1 reaction leads to a mixture of retention and inversion. Since the SN2 proceeds through a backside attack, if a stereocenter is present in the SN2 reaction, it will give inversion of the stereochemistry. We call it as the Walden inversion. By contrast, if the SN1 leads to the formation of the stereocenter, there will be a mixture of retention and inversion, since the nucleophile can attack from either face of the flat carbocation, that is called racemization. See, a beautiful animation is provided in this YouTube link, that is how does the SN2 and SN1 differ. And you can watch from this YouTube link by clicking on this one, or copy this YouTube link and watch in the case. And I will show that YouTube, that is YouTube video also. See that animation, let us see what is that animation. You can see that is also in YouTube, and that is for you. I'm providing the same YouTube here, your YouTube video here. A beautiful animation you can observe. Let us see first add SN2 animations. See, the Kalyan Kumar sir provided a beautiful animation, and you can see this is a tertiary butyl chloride approaching hydroxide ion, and this is a 3D structure, and opposite to the leaving group, and so that it will be left. And what a beautiful animation is here. And you see again, once again, that is approaching the nucleophile, and here also you can see a transition state where involves both leaving group and entering group, and this leaving group is left, so that we'll get opposite configuration if it is a stereo center. Now let us see, that is what I mean to say. This is what is called energy profile diagram. This is a nucleophile, and this is the reacting molecule alkyl halide, and this is going to be the transition state, and it will be lost. See a beautiful animation. And once again, let us see this one. Let us see, this is the nucleophile, our reacting molecule, and approaches and form a transition state where it reaches maximum energy, and the leaving group left the alkyl halide and form methyl alcohol. And in this way, the energy profile diagram can be shown for SN2 reaction. Let us see the stereochemistry of SN2 reaction. This is our compound. This is having a stereo center is here according to the Kohn-Ingold principle. This is one, or this is our configuration, our alkyl halide, and this is going to be the entering group, the nucleophile, it will be left, so that it is quite opposite to the leaving group. That's why it is S configuration. That's why we can say that the formed compound or product is configuration of the product is opposite to the reacting molecule. This is again, you can see this is the first right side. That's why we say clockwise direction or configuration, and then the leaving group, and both are present in the transition state, and it is entered, and this group is at the quite opposite to the reacting molecule. That's why its configuration is quite opposite to the reacting molecule. This is S configuration. Therefore, inversion of the configuration takes place in the case of what you say, in the case of SN2. Now let us see the SN1 animation. See a beautiful animation. You can simply understand what is this reaction. And this is our tertiary butyl bromide. This is the compound 3D structure. And loss in the first step, loss of bromide takes place, carbocation is formed, and the nucleophile is added, the water molecule. Here it acts as a base and accepts the proton from the oxonium ion. This 3D structure also you can see that you will get the tertiary butyl alcohol. See, this is on the same side. Let us see again, once again. This is the loss of the proton, bromide ion, and attacking the nucleophile second step. In the third step, accepting the proton by water molecule, where it acts as the what? Base. So that we will get the tertiary butyl alcohol. Now let us see this. You can observe that the same side, this is the retention of the configuration. A beautiful animation. Let us see. The other thing is the reaction coordinate, or what I mean to say, that is energy profile diagram. This is going to be our tertiary butyl bromide. A loss of the bromide ion takes place, carbocation is formed here, reaches the lowest energy, and the nucleophile attacks, and approaching the nucleophile, energy increases, then decreases for the oxonium ion, and reaches the minimum level, and this accepts the proton, and you will get. Okay, then you get to see the two peaks are mainly the two peaks are formed here. Let us see again how does it happen. This is our tertiary butyl alcohol. Let us see once again this how does it will be formed. This is tertiary butyl bromide. First step, loss of the bromide ion, carbocation is formed, and then approaching the nucleophile to this one. See how it is approaching. Then oxonium ion reach this base will accept the proton, and you will get the tertiary butyl alcohol at this stage. This is the oxonium ion stage. In this way, the energy profile diagram contains two peaks in the case of the SN. This is negligible, of course. Two peaks in the SN1 reaction, whereas one peak in SN2 reaction. Let us see how a beautiful stereochemistry of this SN1 reaction in animation. This is collision of the molecules, reacting molecules. After collision, what happens? You see, this is a stereo center. You can see this is going to be a stereo center, and a loss of the bromide ion takes place, and you see a carbocation is formed. This is a stereo center carbon, two molecules simultaneously. We are discussing two molecules. A free rotation is possible, and after the free rotation, what I mean to say, then the nucleophile may attack on the opposite side or on the same side of the leaving group. Then it accepts the proton, it also accepts the proton, so that what happens here, inversion of the configuration is formed, here the retention of the configuration is formed. Let us once again, let us see, this is a collision of the reacting molecules. Collision of the reacting molecules, water molecule, and this is the case. Now let us see the loss of the bromide ion takes place. We are discussing simultaneously two molecules. A free carbocation, tertiary butyl carbocation, or some other carbocation is formed where the carbocation is a, what I meant say, stereo center, and this is going to be this carbocation, and this is opposite to the leaving group side, and this is the same side as the leaving group is present. Now this is the oxonium ion is formed and accepting the proton by water molecule, so that you will get retention of the configuration and inversion of the configuration, both are present. That's why we can say inversion of the configuration is present. Then see the same, you can observe how the inversion of configuration is formed. This is the OR configuration, you see, because the right side, there it is a loss of the bromide ion, a carbocation is present, formed, and this carbocation may attacks on both sides, same probability. It can attack here or attacks here. First of all, let us see the same side as the leaving group is present. You will get the OR configuration. This is a nucleophile accepting the proton from oxonium ion. So that here the configuration is same as that of the reactant, that is OR configuration is formed. This is going to be the OR configuration, clockwise direction and OR configuration. Let us see the other, how does it is formed. How does S configuration is formed? See, this is the carbocation, both approaches equal possibility. Now let us see the opposite direction. The nucleophile is attacking opposite to the leaving group, and this is going to be the S configuration. See that this is going to be the base accepting the proton from oxonium ion, and you can see how it is accepting. And here, if you see the CIP rules, here it is our configuration, that is optical activity, it is going to be the S configuration. That's why inversion of the configuration takes place. Let us see once again, how does the inversion of the configuration occur. This is our the reacting molecule, and this is going to be the leaving group present on the right side, and it will be lost. It will be lost, so that what happens, you will get a free carbocation, and this carbocation is a stereo center, and it is having two anisotropic phases, so that it can approach both sides. And first of all, let us see, when it is approached on the same side as the leaving group is present, you will get the configuration as OR configuration as a reacting molecule. This is accepting the proton. Then you see, this is the OR configuration, because the nucleophile is present on the same side as the leaving group is present. That's why it is a clockwise and OR. Let us see how does it will be anti-clockwise is formed. Just we observed that previously we discussed this one. Now you see how does it will be attacked. When this nucleophile attacks on the opposite to the leaving group, that is opposite direction where the leaving group is present, you will get the S configuration, left side, and accepting the proton from oxonium ion, and you can see a beautiful animation. A beautiful animation here, you can clearly observe that you will get the S configuration counterclockwise. In this way, a beautiful animation is done by the Kalyan Kumar sir. This can be, after seeing this, viewing this one, you can clearly understood, and you can write, you can imagine how SN1 reaction and SN2 reaction takes place. Okay, and this is what is SN2 and SN1. see this animation I have shown from this YouTube link. You can watch this again in the YouTube directly. This one, thanks to the sir who provided this YouTube animations, great animations, which can easily understand by even teacher or student. And with this, we can conclude what is SN1 reaction and what is SN1 versus SN2 reaction. And I hope that you are understood perfectly what is SN1 reaction and SN1 and SN2 comparatively and differences between these two. And clearly understood with the animations also. I can say thanks to these two videos who made these two videos provided in the YouTube, and I also given to YouTube links. You can watch it directly from there also. Thank you for watching all these this video, and share among the BSc second year SEM students, which is very useful to them. Thank you one and all, and we will meet again in the another session, that is fifth session with the other topic in the same halogen compounds. Thank you one and all.